What if the ego you've spent years trying to fight was never your enemy at all? What if it was simply a tool, meant to be understood, not destroyed? Welcome back to Reflections Beyond Time. In this video, we continue our journey through the teachings of Ramesh Balsekar, exploring his profound insight. The ego is just a function, not who you are. In our first video, we explored the idea that you are not the doer, that actions arise through the body-mind, not by a separate self. In the second, we discovered that life is a flow, and peace comes when we stop resisting what is. Now, we arrive at one of the most misunderstood topics in spirituality, the ego. Let's begin with a simple question. Why do so many spiritual paths teach us to kill the ego, to dissolve it, transcend it, silence it? Balsekar offered a different view, one that was not harsh or forceful, but deeply compassionate. He taught that the ego is not the villain of our spiritual story. It's simply part of the mechanism through which life operates. It's not a mistake, it's a function. Let's go deeper. Ramesh Balsekar described the ego as a what necessary illusion, a sense of I that arises so that daily functioning can happen. You use the word I to refer to this body, this voice, these thoughts, but that I is not a fixed entity. It's not a thing. It's a process. Just like a wave isn't separate from the ocean, the ego isn't separate from consciousness. It's just a temporary ripple, a form that appears so life can express itself as you. And here's where it gets interesting. The problem isn't that the ego exists. The problem is that we identify with it. We believe it is who we are. That's when suffering begins. Imagine a carpenter who mistakes their hammer for their hand. That's how we relate to the ego. We forget it's just a tool. So what does it mean to stop identifying with the ego? It means recognizing that thoughts like, I need to be better, I shouldn't have said that, what do people think of me, are just noise from a function designed to help you survive in the world, not define your worth. Balsekar never asked anyone to crush the ego. He simply invited us to observe it, to see it clearly, impersonally. And in that clarity, the illusion of separation starts to fade. But here's where many seekers get stuck. They try to be egoless. They watch themselves constantly, criticizing every thought, every impulse. They treat the ego like a shadow they need to escape. And what happens? The ego becomes stronger, only now it's wearing spiritual clothes. I'm more awakened than others. I'm purer because I have no ego. I'm closer to enlightenment. This is spiritual ego, a subtler, sneakier mask. And Balsekar would smile and say, even the desire to be egoless is arising through the functioning of consciousness. You can't get rid of the ego, but you can stop mistaking it for who you are. So what happens when you stop fighting the ego? You relax, you speak, act, move, but with no inner commentary. You let the body-mind organism do what it's conditioned to do while resting in the silent awareness behind it. Let the ego function, but don't follow it blindly. When praise comes, notice the ego's joy. When criticism comes, watch its hurt, but don't resist, don't indulge, just observe. And slowly you begin to see there's something deeper than the ego, something still, silent, and untouched. That is what you truly are. One man who came to Balsekar shared how, after years of battling his ego, he finally stopped. He stopped judging himself. He stopped pretending to be spiritually perfect. He laughed at his ego's reactions, and with that laughter, peace returned. This is the essence of Balsekar's message. Don't fight the illusion, just stop believing in it. When you do that, life becomes much lighter. You no longer need to perform. You no longer need to prove. You no longer need to fix yourself. The ego plays its part. and you remain the witness. So let the ego be, let it function, just don't mistake it for you. Ramesh Balsekar's wisdom offers a gentle but powerful reminder. You don't need to destroy what was never real to begin with. You only need to stop clinging to it. The ego is just a function, not the enemy. And the more clearly you see this, the more deeply you rest in the truth of who you are. If this teaching resonated with you, let us know in the comments. How has your relationship with the ego changed over time? And if you haven't yet, watch the first 2 parts of this series. You are not the doer, and life is a flow. Let it happen. Subscribe for more reflections, and until next time, allow life to be as it is.